Evening, folks. It is Monday, September the 21st, 2015. I've said earlier today that this is going to be kind of a short, simple ritual. It's just going to be myself running solo, primarily because I'm on the road, and secondarily because my wife reminded me that I had to do a Druid Mooncast last night just as I was going to bed. So one of the things that's been kind of in my head the last, I don't know, a couple months or so, but really sort of coming to fruition a couple weeks ago when Em and I were down in Ocean City, Maryland for Labor Day / her birthday, since it's usually the same weekend. We did a ritual on the Atlantic beach at dawn with all. We had my wand, which is a piece of my my ash staff that I cut off and burnt the same sigils and symbols that are on my staff into it. So it's basically, you know, linked. We just had that, and we sort of improvised. We had no fire because you couldn't do fire on the beach. Anything like that. So we sort of, again, improvised. We, you know, basically used the Atlantic as our ocean. We used the sun, the rising sun, as our fire, calling upon, I believe, called on Aegir and Helios, which, oddly enough, two sort of primordial deities, a Jotun and a Titan, to you know, help establish that connection and all. And so my, you know, in my head, the ideas swirling around, you know, doing ritual when you don't have your normal accoutrement, you know, all your tools, your altar, stuff like that, can be interesting, definitely. And since I travel a lot for work, I don't generally really bring an altar with me in any way, shape, or form, even though I have a nifty little travel altar that Reverend Michael J. Dangler gave me years ago for a birthday present, made out of a tin that's shaped like a Nintendo controller, which is pretty damn awesome, even though I unfortunately don't use it that much. Sorry, Mike. But if you do travel at all and you want to do, you know, ritual, and you want to have, you know, physical objects for an altar or stuff like that, you definitely can. Again, I'd say that using something along the lines of what the magical druid here uses, if hopefully you can see that. Yep, it's showing up. They have little mint tin altars and all that you can use. And let's wait here. There you go. Camera's back. You can use those. You can make your own. In the last couple years, probably the last 2 years, since the last time I believe I went to Trillium. Let me parse that in my head again. For the first time that I went to Trillium after a long time, the Trillium Festival, which is held in, I believe it's one of the, it's like the first ADF festival of the year, generally held down at Thor's Hollow Retreat in Virginia. I hadn't been to it in a long time. Like, it was my first festival way back in like 2004, 2005, before I even actually joined ADF. That was the festival that cemented my decision to join ADF, even though Reverend Dangler had been doing a soft sell for probably several months beforehand. But I had not been there in a long time. Came back because Em poked me and said you should come to Trillium with me, and I was finally able to, which was a, you know, great idea. I ran into Adam Davis, who does the Connecting with the Land workshops all around and all. I remember talking to him briefly about some of that Connecting with the Land stuff, and he mentioned something that was in his book that I can't remember what page it's on, but I know he mentioned something about being able to do ritual without having, you know, any sort of, you know, like a well or, you know, a tree or anything like that. You know, basically all you have is yourself, and finding inspiration from something that apparently Ian Corrigan had said at one point in time about using the one spine as the axis mundi, as either the world tree or the world mountain, etc. One's blood as the waters and all, and so that sparked a light bulb in my head of what could I do without having any kind of physical ritual equipment and all. And so I started doing that, especially as I travel a lot for my job. So what we'll be doing tonight, or at least what I'll be doing tonight, you can kind of follow along at home, is basically showing off that, which is what I do generally to do quick ritual, basically a devotional, blessing rite, etc. It's one option. Another option is I know Rodney Cox from Shining Lakes Grove up in Michigan, I believe has told me in the past that he pretty much does everything visualization-wise. If I'm wrong, Rodney, and you see this or hear this, please let me know. But I remember him saying something about how he primarily does everything sort of in the astral and all. And I mean that with all due respect, just trying to differentiate the fact that as physical as opposed to visualized, etc. So that's an option as well of basically going into trance in some way, shape, or form, and then doing ritual from a trance state, while in doing journeying and all that stuff, and using what's visualized in the trance state as a your ritual altar, your ritual space, etc., so that you don't really need physical tools and stuff. I know a lot of people do, and that's fine. Mine is another way, which basically comes down to, with my way, one of the things that sort of occurred to me, really cemented for me when we were in Ocean City recently, was Reverend Dangler has an article from a long way back called, I think, 3 Bowls on a Stick, talking about just the bare bones of what you need to do ADF ritual. Offering bowls, a bowl for fire, a bowl for the well, and something to represent the Axis Mundi. For me, in Ocean City, crystallized in my head that really all you really need, bare bones, is offerings and yourself. But, obviously, since you're not really going to go anywhere without yourself is kind of implied. So all you really need are offerings, say alcohol, which is what I normally use for offerings to a degree. Sometimes incense, but especially since I travel a lot, and as you can see, I'm in a hotel room, open flame, generally not encouraged. Anything that smokes and leaves scent, I personally am not keen on paying the extra cleaning bill, so incense is kind of out. So I usually fall back on alcohol as offerings. If you can cart around grains with you, that's great, but for myself, traveling as I do for work, it's a lot easier for me to, get a bottle of something somewhere and cart that around with me than it is to, have, mason jars with grains or anything like that. It also attracts a lot less attention if, say one of my coworkers happens to see, oh, hey, you have a bottle. Oh, okay, yeah. Of course you might want to have a snifter of something after a long, hard day of work. So what we'll be doing here in a moment or so, after I get done prattling on, is a simple devotional rite, basically just to the 3 kindreds. We'll take a deep breath, we'll center ourselves, we'll do sort of the hallowing gate opening mashup that I do. This is not going to be full chord or ritual the way we generally do on the Druid Mooncast. This is quick and dirty. It's, I guess, piety for the masses. I don't know. Anyways, not going to be a lot of high church here. It's just going to be something simple. So that being said, let me check to see if there's commentary on the face box, because I'm seeing notifications. Nope, just my normal stuff. So anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them up into the Q&A, because that is up and going. And if there are any, I'll answer them after we're done here. But yeah, so let's take a deep breath, center ourselves. Land beneath me, sky above me, sea about me, fire within. May my blood be the flowing waters. May my spine be the great tree. May my mind be the fire of the heavens, burning bright and clear. Standing at the center, as the center. So be it. Earth Mother, All Mother, you who gives us life, who gives us sustenance, who gives us comfort. May you find this offering acceptable. It is given love, gratitude, and honor. Hail to you, blessed Earth Mother. Ancestors, those of blood, those of spirit, those of the land about me, hear my call. Join me by my fire this night. May you find this offering acceptable. It is given honor, gratitude, and memory. Hail to you. Spirits of the land, hear my call. Join me by my fire this night. May you find this offering acceptable. It is given honor, gratitude, and praise. Shining deities, those of the realms above, those of the realms below, those of the realms about us. Hear my call. Join me by my fire this night. May you find this offering acceptable. It is given honor, gratitude, and praise. As kindreds, I've made offering. I've made welcome. Hail to you all. And I've just remembered that I left my room bag in my luggage. 1 moment. All right. Blessed kindreds, I have offered and I ask, have my offerings been accepted? Got myself a Hogalaws. So, blessed kindreds, accept this offering. It is given in piety, honor, and love. Hail to you. Blessed kindreds, have my offerings been accepted this time? Rizo and Munyo, I'm interpreting as they've been given correctly enough to not only be safe in travels, but also joyously given. So I am pleased. I'm glad to know that my offerings are accepted. So kindreds, I ask of you, what offerings do you give, what blessings do you give in return? Urus and Fehu. Strength and wealth. I say these omens are good. Blessed kindreds, ancestors, land spirits, shining deities. I thank you for standing with me this night, for joining me about the fire. Hail to you all. Stay if you will, go if you must. Blessed Earth Mother, you for whom we spring, you to whom we return, I thank you. Hail and praise to you. Stay if you will, go if you must. This rite is ended. Simple devotional, slight bump there with the Hagalas, generally not seen as an overly positive omen, hence the extra offerings. But yeah, I mean, that's a simple devotional without any kind of really accoutrements other than a sort of offering cup, bowl, etc., to hold what you might have. I used my blood as the well, my spine as the axis mundi, and basically the metaphorical fire of my mind, of my vision, etc., as the fire of sacrifice or the fire of the hearth, or however you want to term it. So with those three acting together to hallow the space, to sort of create the sacred center, you can do ritual pretty much anywhere where you have your body, which again, most people aren't going to lose their bodies. So as long as you have offerings to give, since you're essentially setting up a guest-host relationship, calling the kindreds to you, as long as you have offerings, all you need is yourself and your offerings, and you can do simple ritual anywhere at any point in time. Doing something like that, you can have a mini altar. Again, the Magical Druid makes some good ones. I highly suggest them. You can make your own. I know the tin that I have scrolled away somewhere is a mint tin with a small tea light, a matchstick, and I believe a tiny vial of water in it. Got traveling hallows. You can do it completely in trance vision, the way I mentioned, etc. There are a lot of ways that if you get creative, you can do, especially devotional ritual anywhere. Bigger high day stuff, depending on whether you're doing it in a group or doing it solo. Obviously you might want to have, tools just for the theater aspect of group ritual and all. But if you're off by yourself or you're just off, with a couple other people, etc., you can easily do solo or small group ritual with just your bodies. So I'm not seeing any questions. If there are any questions, I'll give you guys a moment to pop those into the Q&A. If you have anything that you want to ask about, anything you want to mention, etc. Yeah, I've pretty much run out of stuff to just prattle about at this point. Again, probably within about 24 hours, this will be uploaded onto the YouTube channel. I'd say give it another extra day or so, because I just realized maybe an hour or two ago elite Google Plus page that we had. So I'll be downloading some of the more recent Druid Mooncasts that we were able to do and uploading them to the official ADF one, and making sure that I'm logged into the correct one and seeing what we can do to get rid of the old obsolete one. But beyond that, I'm going to keep trying to round out this year. If you're interested, please feel free to either comment on the Google Plus page, to email I believe the email is the ADF administrator. It's etc. Let me see what I can do to pull up email here just to double check. But I'm always looking for people who are interested in either assisting or in doing ritual for the Druid Mooncasts. If you've got a small group, with me basically just in the background running the camera and the setup and all, definitely looking for that. The email that I was talking about was adfinfomanager, all one word, at gmail.com. So if you're interested in participating in the Druid Mooncasts and leading Druid Mooncasts, etc., please feel free to contact me through that. And I'm going to try and round out the ending of the year, the last couple months here, as much as we can, either improvising, kind of like I did today to a small degree. Next year I have an idea for a year-long sort of thing, so we'll see what happens with that as I get in touch with people. Yeah, so that's about it for tonight. I'm not seeing any questions in the Q&A, which is not a problem. It means I can get back to doing some work for my job tomorrow, and I will see you all later. So have a good night, and yeah, have a good night.